everyone, and welcome back to It All Starts With a Wish podcast. My name is Rachel.
And I'm Mark.
He already has his dad joke open.
I do.
Any good ones?
I'm looking.
I feel like you shouldn't read them. Like, you should just, scan and then pick one.
But there's one in here that I saw a while ago, and it was football related, and since yesterday was the Super Bowl, I figured, hey.
Did you find it?
I found it.
Really?
Yeah. Are you
ready? It was
ready?
meant to be, then.
You ready for it? Where do quarterbacks keep notes on their passes?
In a notebook.
In a spiral notebook. It's a good one.
Wow.
That's a good one. I hope your favorite team won yesterday.
I'm still kind of salty about the halftime show, but it's okay. It's fine. It was good.
I don't know. And
I know you didn't know any of the songs. I knew 3 of the songs.
Nor do I care.
Okay.
And honestly, I don't know. Is anybody from Philadelphia listening to this podcast, I guess I should say? Let me try that again.
Yeah.
Is anyone from Philadelphia actually listening to this podcast? Because I'm going to say something.
Uh-oh.
As a New York Giants fan and as a New England Patriots fan and a Boston Bruins fan, I just kind of find Philly fans, insufferable.
Why?
Because they are. They're always...
Because they are.
If someone is, going to do something stupid or throw something at someone or get into a fight with someone, it's usually always a Philadelphia fan.
You're talking, in the stands?
Yeah, it's the city of brotherly love. Well, they never act like it. They all act like jerks.
They're just really passionate about their sports.
Well...
I feel like people would say the same thing about Boston.
They're pretty insufferable, and I'm kind of upset.
I feel like people think Boston fans are insufferable.
They're probably going to win the Super Bowl. We don't know quite yet what's going to happen because we're recording this actually during the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. That's how much I care about the game this evening. I don't know. I really don't have a dog in the fight, if you will. I don't even know if we can even say that anymore. But yeah. I really don't care who wins tonight.
May the best team win. I don't know.
Well, who cares?
Okay.
I saw a great graphic the other day where it was a map of the United States and it had highlighted Missouri and the Kansas City area, and it was rooting for the Chiefs. Who are they? The maps of who is the country rooting for?
Yeah.
And it was a very localized region around Kansas City that was rooting for the Chiefs. Same thing for Philadelphia. And the rest of the country was an asteroid. For an asteroid to hit.
Oh my God.
And I think that sums it up pretty well. I don't think many people really want to see either of them win. But
a bit much.
Here we are.
But okay. But all right.
I was rooting for the underdogs. I was hoping that the Washington Commanders would make it. I thought that would be a great story, but they didn't. So
maybe
here we
next
are.
Time.
Maybe next year. Oh well. So anyways, what are we talking about today? Not football.
No.
And clearly not pop culture because I don't understand what just happened at the halftime show.
Yeah, you're really not a
that.
pop culture kind of guy.
No, I'm not. Apparently there was something with A minor was a shot at Drake or something.
What?
You know how he was switched to A minor or something apparently that was a veiled reference to Drake because they have a beef, I guess.
Oh, I don't even know that.
I don't know. One of my coworkers just typed a text message to a group of us and was like,
"Is
wow,
that why he had an A on his shirt?"
Yeah, apparently.
Oh.
Yeah. Apparently it was shots being fired. And she was
I don't know what shots
guys,
are being
this
fired
is big. This is big culturally, and I'm I don't really care.
I don't really know. I didn't know. Well, now I'll have to update myself.
So
in the pop
apparently
culture
there
world.
was some kind of juicy something there.
Wow, the more you know.
Yeah.
Well,
I've already talked way too much about it though because I care about it that little.
Okay, then stop talking about it. So, something that has come up a few times, I think, just in our own.
Oh wait.
What?
Sorry, one of our listeners emailed us about this, and it kind of made me sad. Jelly Rolls is going to close, and it's going to move away from the Boardwalk. If you're not aware, it's the dueling piano bar at the Boardwalk Resort. in Disney World, and it is moving off of Disney property, and that made me really sad to hear. So I think we need to make sure on our trip here in a little while.
But I do have to say that the time that we have gone, it's been pretty dead in there. So maybe it was just the time of year in which we were going, but it's not very like...
I think we went on like a Tuesday night.
Okay, well, maybe it's different. That's what I'm saying. So maybe it was just like the time of night, but maybe this time we'll go on the weekend and
maybe
we'll see it for what it really is. Maybe. Who knows? But
we
yes,
should go this trip because...
Do you know what it's being replaced with?
No, I don't think any announcements have been made in that.
It's a pretty big space.
I think that this is kind of, though, an ongoing theme of, like, I don't want to say re-theming, but, like, a rethinking of what is at the boardwalk.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, there's been a series of closures, transitions that have happened. You know, the ice cream shop that was there is now a different ice cream shop.
ESPN has been gone for
is
a
now
while.
the bake house or bake shop, whatever they're calling that restaurant there.
We're going to be
The new restaurant. So
sugared out. I feel like it's all like sugar there. It's like no like real food. It's like we need like a real food place.
Well, but that new restaurant is a real food place. It's just the cake shop. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
I think it's the cake shop, not the bake shop.
Yeah,
but
no, they do have like
whatever.
food. But
They
I meant
have
like a
actual
restaurant
food.
like ESPN. Like
like or like the Big River Grill that used to be there, the
Yeah.
brewery. But
and they need to bring back that other started with a T. Tortino's.
yeah, that's still there.
Oh no, but
Trattorius.
they need to bring back the Rapunzel character breakfast.
Ah, yes,
thing.
they haven't brought back the
Yeah,
characters. yet.
that's what they need to bring back. Anyways,
But the restaurant is still there and functioning.
well, yes, but they need to bring back.
What are we talking about today?
We're talking
Not
about not that either. There's a lot of things we're not talking about today, and we're
But
still
we are.
talking about them. A few clients have brought up split stays, meaning I kind of want to do this. I kind of want to stay here. I can't really afford to stay there the whole time. What do I do? Is this even possible? Walk me through it. Is basically, they're like, is this even an option? And yes, it is an option. And we have done it.
Yes, we have.
So we have experience with this.
We do.
And I would definitely do it again in the future. Mm-hmm. I definitely think it's not like a one and done thing or only, when budget allows. I feel like you can do this even if you don't have a tight budget. Like you can still switch up the themes of where you're staying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are not in the know, this is something called a split stay. And a split
let's give it a
stay
definition.
in Disney lingo means that you are going to stay at multiple hotels. Doesn't just have to be 2.
No.
You could stay at 3 or 4. Really, it's unlimited. It's as many times as you want to move.
Yeah.
Typically, a split stay, though, is when you stay at 2 different hotels in one visit.
Yes.
So if you're going for 7 days, let's say hypothetically, you're spending 7 days at Walt Disney World, 6 nights at Walt Disney World, and you're going to stay at one hotel for 3 of those nights, and then halfway through your trip, you're going to transition to a new hotel. That is a split stay.
Yes.
You could also, in another hypothetical, a 12-day trip, you're going to spend 3 at one hotel, 3 at another, 4. I should have said 4. You're going to stay 4.
My goodness.
Math, right?
Math.
4 times 3. You're going to stay 4 nights at one hotel, 4 nights at another hotel, and 4 nights at another hotel.
Yeah.
So really, you're not bound by staying at one hotel. And there's a few reasons why you may choose to do a split stay. But that is the essence of what a split stay is.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be like the halfway point of your trip. We've done it where we've gone for like 10 days, but we've only stayed 2 nights at one and, 7 in another. Or, you know what I mean? Whatever it is. It can be as long as short as you want it to be, and it really helps customize your trip or get more out of, wanting to stay at 2 different places at in the same time period.
Yeah, so what are some reasons why someone would decide to do a split stay, I guess?
I think one of the biggest reasons that I've seen people at least inquire about it is that they can't necessarily afford to stay at a deluxe resort for the entirety of their stay. They can maybe swing 2 or 3 nights, but they cannot do
7.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not in the budget.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of times, like, you may want to splurge, let's say, and stay at the Contemporary for 2 nights, so that way you have easy access to Magic Kingdom for 2 days, right? And then you have views of the fireworks and stuff like that from your hotel, but you cannot afford to do that for 7 days. But you may be able to swing 2 days and then swing 5 days at an All-Star.
Yeah.
And so instead of just saying, we'll stay at like Pop Century or
instead of like
Caribbean
the middle
Beach or
and
something and stay in a moderate.
Yeah.
It may make more sense for you to say, well, I really want to be close to Magic Kingdom 2 days and get that experience of seeing the fireworks, getting a theme park view, enjoying that. And then for the rest of the vacation, maybe you don't go to Magic Kingdom again because you've done it now 2 days in a row extensively because you've been able to walk into the park and you've watched the fireworks from your balcony. You've really enjoyed that moment. And now you're going to transition over to the All-Star and stay there for the remainder of your stay. Maybe you're not going to Magic Kingdom for the rest of your stay.
Yeah, the other resort that I feel like you see a lot of is that Magic Kingdom loop area, but also Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, but I think that a lot of people stay at Animal Kingdom. Why I did not use that in this example is because I think this is another reason why people do split stays. Is that certain hotels are really cool, but are not super conducive.
Well, I was going to say, it's like
parks.
The opposite of what you said, right? Like, it would be the opposite. I think a lot of people do Animal Kingdom because it is so secluded and you have Animal Kingdom, but it's definitely more quiet. There's the animals. There's a lot of stuff to do around that resort. So the opposite of what you would do to stay at, in your example, the Contemporary, where everything is right there and it's much busier. The opposite can be said for, I think, a lot of them. I feel like Old Key West is one of them. Any of the like Disney Springs area resorts that are quieter.
But like that is a different reason because people want to experience something really cool at that resort.
Yeah.
But it doesn't lend itself to maybe the easiest access to a park or the best experience overall. And I think Animal Kingdom is the best example of that. I think Old Key West is a good example of it too. But for the Animal Kingdom example, right, it is so cool to be able to wake up in your hotel room and see savanna animals, to see a giraffe from your hotel room, right? That's an amazing experience. But it is so far removed from the other theme parks that it's a long bus ride to get there, from there to Magic Kingdom. So if I want to get to the parks a lot, right, that's not the most sensible hotel. But if I want a really cool experience for 2 nights, and this is exactly what we did on our last stay, right? We stayed there for 2 nights. We got that awesome experience.
We wanted more.
And then we transitioned. We did. In hindsight, right? I would have spent more time there. But we spent 2 nights there, which was awesome because we got that experience of Animal Kingdom and seeing the animals and all that resort has to offer and its close access to Animal Kingdom. And then we transitioned, though, to a hotel like the Beach Club that is much more centrally located and easier to get to a lot of the parks. So that is distinctive from money, right? You may make that choice for the money, too, because you want to stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge and you just can't afford to stay there. But you're going there for that experience. Old Key West, maybe you're a golfer, right? And you want to go golfing and your spouse wants to go and hang out at Disney Springs a lot. Well, you go golfing, but you want also the other part of your vacation not to be that, and you want to go to the parks a lot. Well, Old Key West is not a good resort to get to the parks from. It's great if you want to go golfing. It's great if you want to go to Disney Springs. So maybe you spend 3 nights there and have a more relaxing experience, and then you transition to another hotel for the second half to get more of your parks experience.
I think this all comes back to that customization of your trip, of like, what is your goal? What do you want to experience? Why are you going, basically? Because there's so much more to do in Walt Disney World than just the theme parks, too. And people don't always think that. They just think, oh, well, we're going to the theme park every single day. You don't have to do that in order to, get that great vacation. You don't need to go to the park every single day. So
certain amenities also may attract you to want to do a split stay.
yeah.
So for our example that we were just using, right, we used our Disney Vacation Club points.
Yes.
But for the first 2 nights when your parents were not there, we stayed in a 1-bedroom at Animal Kingdom because that's all that we needed.
Yeah.
When we did our second half, we stayed in a 2-bedroom. And it's not to say that Animal Kingdom didn't have 2 bedrooms, but there was no point in us spending the amount of points for
we
a
were gonna
2-bedroom
spend more.
for 3 nights when your parents weren't there.
Yeah.
When we could stay in a 1-bedroom, spend less points, and then transition to the more expensive hotel room, which had 2 bedrooms, when your parents arrived. So there may be certain amenities or room offerings that will lead you to the choice of a split stay.
Yeah.
Maybe more people are joining you on your
Or
trip.
maybe people are leaving and you're downsizing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I feel like, what have we even talked about so far? We've talked about money, just the general affording, splitting between deluxe and or value resorts and that kind of thing. We talked about what goal of your vacation, what you're aiming for. You're going to stay where you want to be. There's obviously, on that note too, there's centrally located resorts too. So if you're like, I just kind of want to be in the middle of everything, then there are some resorts that you can just stay for the whole time and you can be around everything. But if you're not going to go to the park for 3 days, I don't think you really need to stay at, the Contemporary. It's right there. You can if you want to, but there's other things at different hotels.
But you can almost have an amazing experience at Animal Kingdom Lodge if you're not going to go to the parks.
Oh, yeah.
And, still have plenty to do.
Yeah. And then the third...
Or I'll stay at the beach club on those days and get the amazing pool.
And just get the pool. Yeah.
Versus staying at another hotel, right? So...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the third reason that we just did, just to summarize, to keep my own brain on track here, is just the flexibility in your travel party and or room amenities that you want to have. Because there's so many different types of rooms, too, that you have to think of, especially when you travel with extended family. If you get into those suites, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, and beyond, there's a lot of things to think about. So,
and I'll throw in another one.
Another one.
Just for the sake of it.
Throw it in there.
Maybe you just want to change the theme. Maybe money's not an object.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't really care about, the room amenities or anything like that, but you don't want to stay...
It's kind of like one of those, okay, this is a really bad example. Actually, it might be really good. But have you ever gone to, like Subway, to, a sandwich shop, and you, kind of really want one thing, but you also kind of really want another, but you can't really make up your mind? So you're not going to get a foot long of one. You're just going to get a 6-inch of each one. I have done this before.
I can't say I've ever done this, but...
But this is kind of what it's like. It's like if you can't decide... what resort you're really leaning towards. You could do both. There's nothing that says that you can't do both. Mm-hmm. You've never done that?
No, I've never done that at a sandwich shop. But
well, that's my brain for you.
Your point is, yes.
My point is, yes, you don't have to decide. You can pick 2.
Correct.
You don't have to just pick one.
Right.
So, another thing with split stays that I think people are like, oh, well, how do I even get to resort / where's my luggage going? And how does that all work? And it's actually pretty easy.
It is. It's very easy.
And people think it would be a really big to-do. I would think too, before we did it, that it would take a lot of, thinking or energy, but it really doesn't. If you're going from Disney resort to Disney resort,
I think that is the key in all this, from a Disney resort to a Disney resort.
Yeah, you're not going outside of Disney and then staying
Correct,
on Disney.
because that makes it much more complicated. But
then
if you're going Disney to
take
Disney,
your stuff with you.
it is very easy.
Yeah.
So on this last trip, we started at Animal Kingdom. We went over to the beach club. The morning of that transition, when we were checking out of Animal Kingdom and we were checking into the beach club, obviously you're going to want to pack your bags. Nobody's going to do that.
Yeah,
for
no
you.
one's going to do that for you.
But you're going to want to make sure that your stuff is all packed up. And that morning, you're going to want to go to your in-room phone. On that in-room phone, there will be a button that will be...
bell service?
Bell Services, yeah, but I don't know if it's actually listed as Bell Services or it says like luggage or something like that. I don't know what the actual button says off the top of my head. But there will be a button that will either be Bell Services or luggage or something like that, and you're going to want to hit that button. And that is going to call down to Bell Services. And they're going to answer the phone, and they're going to say, "Hi, good morning. How can I help you today?"
And they're all bubbly like that, too?
And, yeah, of course they are, because they work at Disney. So they're always going to be bubbly about it. And so you're just going to say, "Hi, yeah, this is my room number, and this is my name. We're doing a split stay. We're transitioning hotel rooms today."
This is my room number, and this is my name. Sorry, that just tickled me for some reason.
Are you done? Clearly not.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you tell them that information, and I won't say it again so that way Rachel doesn't keep laughing. And you're just going to inform them which hotel you're going to. And they're going to send someone up with a luggage cart. They're going to come knock on your door. When they show up, they can take all of your luggage for you.
You can say, "Hey, here's
as
all my
much
stuff."
or as little, right? If you want to bring something with you yourself, you have medicines or something like that you want to keep on you. If you have a park bag, let's say you want to go to a park that day,
keep that
totally
on you.
cool to do that. You're going to want to leave that with you, though. Give them the rest of it, and they're going to disappear. They're going to walk down the hall, and they're going to take it down to their little office. And they're going to get that on a vehicle, and they're going to get that over to your new hotel. So that morning I called, gave them that information, said, "Hey, we're going to the beach club." They came up to our room, they got our stuff, they brought it down, they put it on a vehicle. It's not instantaneous. Like, it's not like the minute that they take it from you, it's getting on a van or something like that. It's going to get on the next van that's going between the hotels, but within a few hours, it will get to your new hotel. So you do not have to worry about your luggage from that point that you hand it over to them to the point that you're going to get it at your next hotel. When you show up at your next hotel and you get checked in, you call down to the guest services there. You go, "Hi, this is my name and this is my room." I said that because I knew you were going to laugh at it.
I just stopped giggling.
Our stuff is down there. We just did a split stay, and they'll bring it right up to the room for you. Remember that your bellhop that is helping you with this, right, gets paid, obviously, but it is polite. It is appropriate to tip that person for helping you with this, so never forget that. But they will handle your luggage, so you do not have to worry about that from the point that you transition it to them to the point that you get to your new hotel.
And then we always get the question of, well, wait, there's no free transportation from resort to resort.
But there is.
Oh, but there's more. Wait.
I mean, there is not directly.
There isn't.
Is the point.
No.
But on a transition day, there's no reason why you cannot spend the day in a park.
Yeah.
Or you cannot go to a park and take a bus from the park to your next hotel, or go to Disney Springs and take a bus from there to your new hotel. So there are ways using the free transportation, or if you're staying at a place where there's a boat or something like that, like there are plenty of options for free transportation that can get you from your hotel that you're at to the next park. So that day, we opted to take a minivan, which is also an option, or an Uber. You could order an Uber or a minivan. That is going to cost you money, but we could have just as easily taken a bus from Animal Kingdom Lodge to Animal Kingdom and then got on the Beach Club bus from Animal Kingdom over there. Or if you're planning on spending the day in a park, you don't have to worry about it. Just go to your park. Enjoy your day. At the end of your day at that park, when you're ready to go to your new hotel, you just take a bus to your new hotel, you show up there, you get checked in, you get your room number and all that, and then you get your luggage.
Easy peasy.
Very easy. This is not a difficult process at all.
I feel like people think it's like something big to take on just because you're going from one place to another. And then I can see the disadvantages of that. I would say the biggest disadvantage is that you're packing up and moving. You're not unpacking for the entirety of your stay, so it is a lot of...
And this is my biggest thing that I don't like about split stays, is I like to be able to unpack my luggage,
And just
put
be
it in
done.
the drawers, and be done until the end of the trip.
He wants to literally pretend that he lives there.
Yep, I want to move in.
He wants
I
to
want
like
to take
no,
everything out of my
want to
bags.
see the luggage.
Nope.
It wants to be put away under the bed in the closet. We live here now.
Yep.
That's
Everything's out. Everything's put away in the drawers.
We're here.
We're here.
We're here to stay.
We're not moving. And doing that with a split stay is very difficult because then you're packing, you're unpacking, you're packing, you're unpacking. You almost have to live out of the luggage.
It was fine the last time we did it because our son was so young. I do think that it might be a little difficult now that he is getting older, just because you know how, or I feel like even adults are like this. You know how it takes you like 2 nights just to get comfortable in a new, like sleeping in a new place. Mm-hmm. You're disrupting that and starting all over again in a new room with new smells, with new sounds, like all that stuff. So I do think that maybe with a toddler or just young kids, it might be like another reset for like a sleepless night or two just to get used to it again. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, those are really the only big disadvantages, I would think, is that you're just replacing yourself. And that can be a lot more work than just staying in one spot, obviously. But I do think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages.
They can.
They can, depending
Unless
on...
you are someone who really needs, like, routine and,
Yeah.
like, once you start to, like... Because it can be, to a certain extent, like, you're finally feeling comfortable in
Yeah.
one hotel. You know where the food court is. You know where you're going for this, that, or the other thing. You know where the buses are. You kind of get a
you're finally
feel,
in a flow.
And then you're
You get
interrupting that and you're going to an
like,
entirely
now
new
I
place.
have no idea. I would definitely think that if you're going to do a split stay, I wouldn't personally do it with 2 resorts that you're unfamiliar with. I'd at least pick one that you are familiar with, just to take that extra stress off of like, well, at least I know where I'm going next, or, you know, whatever that may be. But yeah, I think that when we did the 2 nights, it was kind of perfect because we weren't adjusted yet. I feel like with 2 nights when we stayed at Animal Kingdom, I feel like we weren't like settled yet. And then we went, which is also why we were kind of sad, because we wanted like a little more time to feel really like a part of it. So I don't know. It can be a double-edged sword.
Another disadvantage, though, too, can be with booking things.
Yes.
Because you have to remember that you can book for the
Especially if you're
length
doing
of your
DVs.
stay,
Yes.
not necessarily the length of your entire trip.
Right. So that can get a little more complicated when it comes to lightning lanes, dining
Which we did
reservations.
run into with
all of that
reservations
stuff.
on our
Yes.
trip, because we could book our first round of reservations with the first day of Animal Kingdom. But for the second half of the trip, we had to wait a few extra days. So whereas if we had just stayed at one hotel for 10 days, we could have booked for the
everything.
entire 10 days.
Yeah.
When you do a split stay, you can only book for the length of that stay. So I
Right.
could only book for the first 3 days, and then I have to wait until the first day of the beach club in order to book for the last 7 days. So that, I think, more than just being uncomfortable with the change, is a huge disadvantage to a split stay.
In 2025, there's a promotion going on for a free water park, which I think we get to
We do.
on
Yep.
this trip. The free water park pass, basically, entry on the check-in day of your trip. Mm-hmm. If you do a split stay, you get that twice.
You do.
If you have 2 check-in days, you get 2 water park days, which I think is kind of cool. So if you were on the fence about going to a water park, guess what? If you're going in 2025 on those select date
You don't have to
ranges,
buy a
you don't have to
ticket
buy a ticket to
that
get in.
Gets you into a water park,
pretty
because
cool.
your first day you get in
But
for
if you do
free.
a split, you get it twice.
It shows up right on our thing that it says
That
that
it says
first
it.
day that you have free
Yeah.
entry.
Yeah,
So-
it shows up on people's things. But so some promotion
That is a cheat
things
to the
like
system,
that
though.
is a kind of cool thing that came up in the travel agency world when this came out, was like, well, wait a minute, what if there's multiple check-in days? And yeah, that was they get another one on their check-in day.
Right. So you
so that was
potentially
cool.
could get 2 free water park days if you do a split stay. Or more. If you
Or
do
more
3
if
different
you did
hotels,
more.
you get 3 different free water park days.
Maybe they'll start to catch on and be like,
I think that people need to realize that, though, when they're buying their tickets. Like right now, I really don't see the point in buying that ticket. Like Park Hopper's one thing, but they have that
The Park Hopper
Plus option, which gets you into the water parks and other things. If you're buying that solely for the
water park,
don't
parks, do it if you're...
I don't think it's worth it.
No.
Like, why would you do that when they're going to give you a free day in it? You're probably not going to the water parks more than one day on your trip. Maybe you are. There's some people who love them who go every day if they could, right?
Yeah.
But if you're just going for one day, right now there's really no... Unless you're buying that Park Hopper Plus for some of the other things that it provides.
Well, like ESPN and like the Wide World Sports Center and like that.
If you're doing it for other reasons, then okay. But if you're buying that solely for the water parks, I don't think that there's really a reason to do it with this deal.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But anyways, we can talk more about like the deals that are happening right now at a different time. But it's just cool with deals like that are specific to days of your trip that, you know, you could potentially get it twice with a split stay.
You could.
So that's kind of cool.
Another thing, if you were contemplating the Disney dining plan, you do have to purchase the dining plan for the length of your stay.
The length, and then
However,
However,
if you don't want to buy it, you'd have to buy it twice, technically, in that scenario with a split stay, unless you don't want to buy it for your entire trip. This is a way that you don't have to buy it for the entire length of your stay.
This is
you
true.
You could buy the dining plan with just one of your stays and not with another.
Yeah. But you would still have to use all of those things in those, like, 3 days. If you did it 3 days and 3 days, and then 3 days you had a dining plan and 3 days you didn't, you would still have to use all those credits during the
duration of that stay, sure. But
at least you knew, like, that food was paid for already.
Correct.
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I guess if
you knew you wanted to do a lot of, like, let's say I wanted to do a lot of character, like, buffet, very pricey dining experiences.
Or, like, later. Yeah.
Right? But maybe I didn't want to do that the entire trip. Well, it may be advantageous for me to just buy the dining plan for one half of the stay, do those more expensive things where I'm going to get a better bang for my buck in that portion of the trip.
Yeah.
And then eat cheaper the other portion of the trip. Which is something that you don't get the option to do when you just stay at one hotel. You got to buy it for the duration.
Yeah.
But in this case, right, if you wanted it for the whole
trip... you could do that for anything.
It could be an advantage or a disadvantage, right?
I mean, yeah, you could do that for anything then. You could even change your ticket type for the next time. Like, if you really only wanted to do a Park Hopper for 2 days...
Sure.
And then just do base ticket for the other days, you could do that too. So, it's kind of like starting from scratch. It's a clean slate to have a completely different type of reservation, depending on what you wanted to do.
And it gives you more flexibility in that it can be a pain... that you got to do something twice, like buy your ticket twice, 2 different transactions, right, in a way.
Yeah.
But also, it can give you a way of saving money if you don't want to your point, right?
Yeah, I think the broader sense of why you would want to do it is the customization of it. Of like why people do split stays. I think you can customize things much more, and you can get, like you said, the best of both worlds, kind of. You kind of splurge a little bit on one side, but then also be a little more conservative on the other. And I really think that, you know, doing a split stay is how people who are, you know, not, you know, rolling in money get to stay at the deluxe resorts for a period of time, and they can splurge a little bit on that, and then they, you know, kind of go back on anything. But, I mean... Disney is a splurge for everybody, I think, right now in the world. Like, as far as money goes, I feel like it's a lot for everybody. But it's just another way to, like, experience some of those things that maybe you wouldn't have thought you could, and you can.
Yeah, definitely. And for people who may be worried about, like, how does this complicate things? How does it become easier for them?
Just book through me.
Ah, there it is.
Oh.
There it is.
Let me do it. I'll do it for you. Don't worry.
And it's really not that difficult.
It really isn't. It really isn't. But if you are and you have questions and you want to make sure you're doing it right, even if you like to plan, still book it through me. I can still walk you through the process and kind of teach you and not necessarily have to do everything for you if you still want some of that control of what to do. So yeah, that is Split Stays.
Always much easier, though, when you book through Rachel. Armello at MickeyTravels.com. Armello at MickeyTravels.com.
You sound like one of those infomercials.
Yes. No, I'd be talking 1,000 miles a minute like this is about.
Yeah, that's too much for my brain.
All the
right
disclaimers.
Now. All the disclaimers.
Anyways, if you book through Rachel, you may experience nausea, heartburn.
Oh my gosh.
Upset stomach, diarrhea. Yay.
Stop.
Just kidding. You'll avoid all of that if you book through Rachel.
Thank you.
Well, folks, as always, follow us on our social medias. Send us an email if you have any questions or comments at startswithawwish.podcast@gmail.com. And if you're looking to book that next Disney vacation with a split stay, perhaps,
maybe,
or not, feel free to reach out to Rachel at armello@mickeytravels.com. Did I mention armello@mickeytravels.com enough in this episode?
I think you did.
I'll mention it one more time. armello@mickeytravels.com. And as always, folks, remember, it all starts with a wish. We'll see you real soon.
Bye.